I want to regale you with an event that happened to me today. See, I'm a returning college student. I'm much older than the vast majority of students at my college. I was in a math tutorial center, which surprisingly has a majority of female math tutors, about 6 to 4 women to men. I'm taking a calculus class, so I venture in there most days for guidance. And one female tutor in particular has been very helpful, and I'm quite fond of her. And so as she came into the tutorial center to start her session, I greeted her, asked her about her weekend, and asked her how she was doing today. We exchanged some mild pleasantries, and I teased her a bit. I asked her if she could, copy down some proofs on a separate piece of paper for me. Certainly, that's not her job. Of course, I was joking, and she knew it. So she joked back with me a polite refusal. I then said, "You're not doing anything right now. Why don't you go make me a taco or a sandwich?" Now, listen, one of the male tutors overheard this and became quite distressed. He looked at me and he said, "That is very rude," and just stared at me, shooting daggers with his eyes. Now, I don't know exactly how he expected me to respond. Perhaps he was wanting me to hang my head in shame or tuck my tail, apologize, and placate myself for the horrific thing I had said to that woman. And honestly, though that was certainly an option, it never even crossed my mind to respond that way. You see, I have a special disdain for men who think it's their job to keep other men in line. As much as I dislike women who are enemies of men, men who are enemies of men, in my view, are far more dastardly. These same men are the men whose kind have stood by while legislation and political correctness have made being a man a thing of shame. I don't feel ashamed for being a man, and I'm not going to let any white knights throw down the gauntlet without responding. So I said, "Oh, so you're a white knight?" Just staring him down. I could see in his eyeballs that he had never been labeled such a thing, and I could see him calculating the implications of what I meant. He said, "No, I just found it to be very rude." Now, listen, perhaps he's right. Perhaps it was rude, but isn't it all very subjective? I have many lady friends, and I'm not saying this to pump myself up, but many of them are drop dead gorgeous, beautiful women, educated, intelligent. Now, I won't befriend or hang around women who have a massive chip on their shoulders. I say things like "go make me a taco" all the time to many of my female friends, and it's a playful way to engage in some harmless banter. Certainly they don't take it seriously or become offended. But even if it was offensive, which I contend it was not contextually offensive, I said to the White Knight, "So what business is it of yours? You inject yourself into a conversation that you're not a part of to rescue a woman that is a grown adult and can take care of herself?" Now, he had nothing to say to this, so I pressed him. I said, "Is that what you do? When you overhear conversations that have nothing to do with you, you ride in on your noble steed and rescue damsels in distress?" Now, this infuriated him. And let me make a point here. I didn't even have to call him a mangina or any other inflammatory or derogatory term. Men, even when they don't really understand the full context of the white knight culture that we MGTOWs describe, when they are called white knights, they understand completely. And it is infuriating. Why? Because I'm calling them a chump, a shill, a woman's bitch. You don't really have to choose words any more inflammatory than white knight, because believe me, they get it. He had no response, but he put his backpack on. He just stared me down, right? So I said, "You're just going to stand there and stare me down?" You see, the way to deal effectively in a situation where white knights are acting the fool is to simply mention it. Mention what they are doing. Mention what they are saying. They will connect the dots, and they will be pissed about it. Now, I have no illusions that I effected any change in this White Knight, but at the very least, he probably will think twice before involving himself in confrontations that don't concern him. And hopefully, if he's smart, he'll wash his hands of the whole White Knight mentality. But probably not, and I don't care. I'm just sick and tired of others trying to make me feel that being a man and using words that are appealing to me as a man are somehow shameful and should be silenced. I'm over it, and I hope you are too.